Hi TBS kids, welcome back to JoJo's Kitchen. And today we are going to be making matzah, which is something very special because in a few days it's going to be Passover. So what's the first thing that we do before we do any cooking or touching of food? Who knows? You got it. We wash our hands. So we're going to come over to the sink. I'm going to sing my little song. Wash, 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 washy, washy, wash. Wash those germs away. Wash, 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 washy, washy, wash. Send them down the drain. All done. And now, matzah has only 2 ingredients. But before you start, make sure that your adult puts the oven on to a temperature of 475 degrees. And you do that first. And while that's heating up, then you can make the matzah. So we have only 1 cup of flour and 1/3 of a cup of water. You need a bowl, a fork to mix it, a rolling pin because we're going to roll them nice and flat, and a little bit of extra flour for the board. And then you need a tray with some parchment paper on it to put in the oven. And I did forget to mention that the rack should be in the top portion of your oven. Okay? So very simple. I'm going to pour the flour in the bowl. Add the water. I'm going to mix it until it becomes a dough, and we all know what dough is like because we make our own Play-Doh. And once it gets semi-incorporated, you're going to use your hands now and finish it off the rest of the way. So keep working the dough like this until you have like a ball. If you don't use up all the flour, that's okay. And now once it gets to be kind of like this, like a ball, you're going to put the bowl away, sprinkle your surface, make sure it's nice and clean with a little bit of flour, and then you're going to knead it like this. Work it for about a minute. Okay, so the dough should look kind of like this, sort of smooth but not too bumpy. All right, so once you get it to about like that, you're going to cut it into 4s. Cut it that way, and then you're going to cut it again like that. So, how many do we have? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to cut each of these in half again. And then we will have 8 pieces. And we can count those as well. So who remembers how many we're going to have? That's right, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of dough. So you take one of your pieces, sprinkle a little bit of flour, you don't want a lot, and now you're going to take the rolling pin and roll it out. So I have a big rolling pin. I'm going to roll it. Actually, I think you can put a little flour on your rolling pin to keep it from sticking. So you roll it, and you roll it again, and again. You keep turning it, and then you can let it rest for a minute, or just to count to 10 or so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we'll roll again. That lets the dough rest a little bit, and it'll make it easier for you to flatten it. So just keep rolling it to see how thin you can get it. Doesn't really matter what the shape is because we're just going to eat it. Actually, before you start the process of rolling out your dough, take your pan and put it into the oven. Make sure an adult is doing this. Put that in the oven on the top shelf. Now you can finish your matzah. Nice and thin. See? That looks pretty thin. Once you get it thin enough, then you're going to take a fork and you're going to poke it all over on one side, flip it over, and poke it on the other side. Like so. And then you're going to set this matzah aside and wait for the pan to get hot. And once you've finished one, then you take the others and you do the same thing. Add a little bit of flour and roll it out to the thin consistency. And letting it rest a little bit, count to 10 in between. All right, so as you can see, I have 4 of my 8 matzah sitting here. I'm going to take the hot pan out of the oven, and you are going to stand away from the oven while your adult takes the pan out. Now you place the matzah on the hot pan, like that. Now it goes back into the oven and you set your timer for 2 minutes. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. After the 2 minutes are up, take them out and you're going to flip them. Your adult is going to flip them and you are going to stand far away from the oven. Pop it back in for another 2 minutes. Okay, so it's been a little bit more than 2 minutes because at 2 minutes they weren't quite brown. So I left them in for maybe another minute or 2. So just keep a lookout, and when they start getting brown, then you'll know to take them out. Now you can leave them as they are now, or you could spray them with a little bit of olive oil spray and a little bit of salt and serve them like that, just to give them a little more flavor. All right, so there we have our homemade matzah. I really can't wait to eat one. So much better than Manischewitz.